Aloha guys, thanks for checking out this week's project on Beach Bum Living Room. This week I'm going to show you how I turn this pile of pallets into this cool looking pallet wood coffee table. So come check it out with me. Alright, so I'm out looking for pallets right now, and they're actually really easy to find. You know, I never really paid attention to them before, but now that I'm looking for pallets, I notice that they're everywhere. A lot of times I'll just go behind businesses where their dumpsters are, and that's usually where they'll have a stack of them that they're wanting to get rid of, whether they just don't need them or they have a couple of broken boards on them, so they're not able to use them. So they're actually really easy to find, and I'm just looking for some of the older looking ones. I don't really want the ones that are brand new looking, because to me that won't look as good when I'm building the furniture. So that's what I'm doing, and hopefully I can find some really good ones here. Alright, so here's a spot that I found some pallets before, and see, this is what I was talking about. A lot of times back in the back of these buildings they'll have where they throw, because a lot of times they want to keep their good ones, but some of these busted ones they'll throw back here, and this is exactly what I'm looking for, like some of this older wood, and this will look really good once it's cleaned up. So I'm going to collect these and go ahead and take them home and then start breaking them down. Alright, so I've gotten the pallets back. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and break these down into individual boards, which I've pretty much found there's two different ways to go about this. You can either use this, if you have one, it's a Sawzall, and what I'll do is just go behind these boards, just sawing the nails in half, which will release these top boards that I'm going to use to build the furniture from these 2x4 braces that are in the middle. So you can use that, but if you don't have one of those, no big deal. You can just use a hammer and anything you have, like a pry bar or a chisel or whatever, to get under these boards to be able to pry them away from those 2x4s. So that's two options. I'm going to show you both, and you can see which one you like better, but that's what I'm doing next. I'm going to go ahead and break these down, and this is kind of the biggest pain to using pallets to build furniture is the breaking down parts. Alright, so I've gotten all the boards disassembled, and here's the main difference in between cutting them off or prying them off. See, when I cut them off, see how it cut the nails off flush? You see, here's the nail heads on the board, and I came through and cut them off. To be able to get these out, because I'm going to want to get all the nails out, because I'm going to plane these boards to give them a nice look, I'm going to use one of these little pin things, and just from the back side, just go ahead and get these to pry up a little bit. And you can see how it pushes it through, so that now you can get the hammer, and they're already cut to real small, so they're real easy to pry out, as you can see. And here is the other ones that I pried up. See, the nails all the way intact, and it is actually a lot easier just to go ahead and hammer these out, and then you can of course pull them out. Really easy. So that's the two different ways. They both accomplish the same thing, but it's just a matter of, it seems like cutting them off, they come off a lot quicker, but as far as getting the nails out, it might be a little more time consuming using one of these. Alright, so I've gotten all the boards cleaned up, all the nails out, any kind of staples, anything like that. Completely clean of any metal. The next thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and skim off just a thin layer off the top of the boards, just to bring out the wood grain and just kind of uncover, because I mean they're kind of gotten dingy looking, even though you can use them like just like this and it'll still look pretty cool. I just want to freshen the boards up a little bit, so I'm going to use this power planer and just lightly go over it. Alright, so I'm done planing all the wood. I think they all turned out really good. They just got a really nice look to them. The next thing I'm going to want to do is, to me, for the project that I'm doing for the top, nice. The next thing I'm doing is I'm going to actually, here's like the standard piece of wood that comes off a pallet. To me, for the project that I'm doing for the coffee table, for the chevron that I'm going to be doing on for the top, I think these are a little too thick as far as the width goes. I want to get a little bit more wood on the top of my coffee table. So what I'm doing is I'm going to actually rip these down and trim them down so they're a little thinner, so that I can fit more of the pieces of wood onto the coffee table. And you'll kind of see in a little while what I'm talking about. Alright, so I just finished cutting down all the pallet boards down to the width I was wanting. I cut them down to 2.5 inches. I cut down the piece of plywood to the dimensions of the coffee table top that I'm building, which is a 2 foot by 4 foot. And this is just regular plywood. And it's going to serve as kind of like the base to the pallet boards that I put on, just to give it a sturdy support system. So I have this cut down. I went ahead and drew a center line right down the middle just to kind of give me a reference point, because what I'm doing next is I'm cutting the pallet boards, the ends with a 45-degree angle. And what it's going to do is, with this line I drawn as a reference point, I'm just going to have these on here like that, right down the center, and you can see how it's going to form this chevron look. And I'm just going to continue all the way down with this pattern. Alright, so I got the boards cut. Now I'm going to start attaching it to the plywood. Alright, so I finished up the top, and as you can see, it's starting to turn out really cool. I just think it looks really rustic and neat looking, and with this chevron pattern in it, I just think it looks really neat. But all I did was, once I finished attaching the pallet boards to the piece of plywood, and then I went around and cut off all the excess with a circular saw, it kind of left it with a rough edge. So all I did to kind of frame the top of the coffee table was I used a 1x2 and just attached it, and you can see it kind of gives it a cleaner edge. I just think it kind of cleans it up a little bit. But that was the last thing I did. Top is done. Now I just need to build the base. Alright, so I finished assembling the base. It went together really easy. So all I have left to do really is to attach this base to the top. And I'm just going to use the Craig jig and just drill some pocket holes along the base and then just attach it to the top. So it should be really simple, and that should be the last thing as far as assembling this coffee table. Alright, so I'm done with the pallet wood coffee table, and as you can see, I think it turned out really cool. It was a pretty easy project. The hardest part probably was breaking down the pallets and cleaning the wood up, because that was by far the most time consuming part. Because once I had all the wood cleaned and cut and everything, it was really easy to put together actually. Because all I did was, I actually looked on the internet to kind of get a common dimension for a coffee table, because I really wasn't sure. I've never built one of these before. I didn't have any kind of plans to go buy or anything like that. So I looked it up, and it seemed like a 2 foot by 4 foot by about 16 inches tall was a pretty common dimension. So that's what I went with, and that's what I was able to cut down my plywood down into. It was a 2 by 4 foot. And then once I had that down, it was really easy to just go ahead and start putting the pieces of pallet wood on top and everything. And then once I framed it out, the bottom was actually pretty easy, because you can see all I did was use the leftover 2 by 4s that are basically the center parts, the braces of the pallet that the pallet wood that I use for the top is attached to. And I just left it just natural, you know, I didn't change anything to it. I cut it down just a little bit on the ends just to fit the dimensions I was using for the base. But other than that, I just left it natural. I had some 4 by 4 posts still left over from when I had collected all that driftwood from the beach, and that worked out nicely. But it was really easy. I mean, it's something you guys at home could do. And I'm actually done. So I'm done building it, but I'm not quite done yet. I think I want to add some colors. It's not going to be in this video. You'll have to check out my next video, because what I plan on doing is leaving the top natural. It looks awesome just like it is. I don't want to really mess with that. But the bottom, I want to add some color. So what I kind of plan on doing, I think, is add a little bit of stain to darken the wood up, and then put a cool color on top. So you'll have to check out my next video though to be able to find out how I do that. So I appreciate you guys checking out Beach Bum Living. I appreciate you guys subscribing, and if you like the video, remember to like it. And I guess I'll see you guys on the next video where I put a little color into this pallet wood coffee table. So see you guys next time.